Thanks for joining our workshop today as part of Climate Action Fife. Today we're going to be cooking a vegetarian chilli. This recipe will leave you feeling fuller for longer, and it's a great one to use if you want to switch out vegetables to use up leftovers. So for this recipe, we're going to use garlic, but you can also use garlic powder. We're going to use a red chilli, but you can also use chilli powder. We're going to use an onion and a red pepper, tomato paste and olive oil. We're also going to use tins of chopped tomatoes, tins of lentils, chickpeas and tins of red kidney beans. So we're going to start this recipe by preparing all your veg. First, we're going to peel and chop the garlic. Cut off both the ends of the clove and peel it. It can be a little bit tricky to peel, but just bear with it. So once you've peeled the garlic, just finely chop it into thin slices. Next, we're going to chop the chilli. Take the head off the chilli. Cut down the middle and open it up. You can take the seeds out if you want a little bit less heat, but neither will affect the flavour. The flavour comes from the chilli, not the seeds. Try to cut out the white bits though, as they're quite bitter. I like my chilli quite hot, so I'm going to leave quite a bit of the seeds in. I'm going to cut the chilli into fine strips and then dice it. If your knife's a wee bit blunt on the chilli, just pop your index finger on the back of it to add pressure. Make sure to keep your chilli and garlic separate, as you'll be cooking them at different times. Onto the pepper. We're going to cut down from the top of the pepper to save all this bit here, as it's just as good. Try and cut around the seeds, as close to the stalk as you can. Just use the seeds as a guide for your knife. Try to remove these white bits, as they're bitter and don't provide any flavour. It'll be a lot softer than the flesh of the veg. So just as with the chilli, we're going to create slices and dice. Doesn't need to be perfect technique, rough chopping's fine. So last but not least, we're going to cut the onion. Remove the top of the onion, leaving as much flesh and skin on as possible. Try and peel a little bit of the brown skin and peel it down. We're going to remove the skin right to this top bit here. Now most people would think that the skin of the onion is inedible and would just throw it away. Onion skin is actually a great way to make vegetable stock. If you keep the skins to the side and freeze them, all you need to do is add them to boiling water with some seasoning like salt, pepper, herbs, boil it up, and you'll have a great vegetable stock to use in soups, casseroles and gravies. So we're going to dice the onion. Some people aren't too confident when it comes to cutting up onions, but it's super simple, really easy. You just cut the onion in half, down the root, so that you've got a root there, and a root there to hold the onion together. So you're going to take one half of the onion and just run the knife through the middle, creating an incision, almost to the root, but not quite all the way through. You're going to take your knife out and just create fine lines down the onion. Doesn't need to be any impressive chopping technique, just making a couple of lines. Then you're just going to take the onion in your thumb and pinky finger to hold it together and just roughly chop down the onion. So you just want to use your knuckles as a guard when you're chopping the onion to make sure you don't clip your fingers. Just hold the edge of the knife against your middle finger knuckle, and that way you'll never meet your fingers. It just acts as a guard. If any of the onion skins come off as well, just add them to the onion skins that you saved at the side for your vegetable stock. So one of the great things about this recipe is you can do it all in one pot. That means less cleaning up, and it's really easy because you just chuck everything in. So we're going to stick on the heat, just up to a medium level, and chuck in a wee bit of olive oil. Just let that heat up. You don't need too much oil, just enough to cover the middle of the pan. So to test the heat of the oil, take a small bit of onion, pop it in, and when it starts to bubble around the rim and sizzle like that, your oil's hot enough. So we're going to add the peppers, onion and garlic to the pan. Cook the garlic, onion and pepper off for 5 minutes or until they're soft. So once your onion and peppers are soft, we're just going to chuck in the chilli. Cook that for 1 minute until you can smell the chilli or it's well mixed. So we're going to get our cans that we drained earlier. Using beans and lentils over meat is a great alternative as it's cheaper and lasts a lot longer, and you don't need to use energy to chill it to keep it fresh. So we're going to add the lentils, the chopped tomato, and a wee squeeze of tomato paste. Just give that a good mix. And bring it up to the boil. Should take about 5 to 10 minutes to cook through. So once the tomatoes and lentils are simmering, you can add your red kidney beans and your chickpeas. Give it a good stir and bring it up to the heat. At this point, if you want to add a little bit more heat, just chuck in some chili powder. So in this recipe, we've used chickpeas, lentils and red kidney beans. But you don't need to use them all to give the same effect. You could use just one of them, or two of them, or even use other beans and legumes if you want to. All are a great protein source and have the same benefits. So at the very end, if you just want to give it a wee bit of seasoning with salt and a wee bit of pepper. So when the red kidney beans and chickpeas are soft, you'll know that it's fully cooked and ready to come out the pot. You can serve this up with many different things, such as rice, or you can serve it on its own. It's a hearty enough meal. We're going to serve ours with tortilla chips.